Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the NerdNest podcast. It's me, Bill Fairchild, your host. And today I am joined by Jimmy Champagne. How you doing, Jimmy?
Great. No falling downstairs this week. Just having a great normal week over here. Safe. Happy.
You jinxed yourself. Now something terrible is going to happen.
I need the excitement. It was on purpose.
Well, speaking of excitement, we got an exciting guest today. We've got Paris Lilly. How you doing, Paris?
Oh, I'm doing great. How you doing? Thanks for having me on again.
Always happy to have you on. But I was scrolling through the comments on my YouTube channel the other day, and people were like, "Where's Paris?" And I was like, "Okay, you know what? I should probably send him a message because every once in a while we try and work things out, but Paris is always traveling and doing so many different things, so it's hard to get him on the show. But here he is, and we're ready to talk about some video games, right?
Oh yeah, it's been a busy week. Very interesting week.
Oh my God, interesting is the word because we had a while ago we had PlayStation raise prices, but only in Europe. Mm-hmm. And then Xbox raised prices, and then PlayStation raised prices in other parts of the world, and then Nintendo raised prices. And all the time, as all of these price increases kept happening over and over and over everywhere, on this show, we kept saying, okay, so who's next? Who's going to raise the price next? And I think the last holdout, and I think really the reason that they were the last holdout is because they couldn't get any parts at all, and they didn't have any. But the last holdout was Valve, and Valve just raised the price of the Steam Deck like a lot, right? So there's two versions of the deck now, all right? They've got the 512 gig version, which is now $789, and the 1 terabyte version is $949. Jimmy, what was your reaction when this happened?
So every day since they went out of stock, the first thing I do when I go to get a video together is go to steamdeck.com and see if they're in stock so I can tweet it out or talk about it in a video or whatever. And I scroll down and I'm like, oh, the buy now button's there. And then I look up a little bit and I was like, what? Excuse me? That's insane. So I refreshed it and I was like, no, I guess it's real. And then before I sat down to record, I went and looked at Twitter and people were losing their minds, going absolutely crazy about it because it is such a massive increase in the price. So the reaction was shock. And I was like, damn, they finally got by the price increase of RAM and storage. And they waited as long as they possibly could, which, we'll talk about it. Probably wasn't the smartest move to just jump it up 300 instead of doing it gradually.
Yeah. And the reason I asked Jimmy is because I saw Paris's reaction. I saw a short. I'm scrolling through and I saw when your co-host said the price, your eyes went so wide. You were like, what?
Yeah, and it's what Jimmy just said. It was that $300 sticker shock. I'm like, oh, I could not believe it went that high, and to the point. It's obviously just due to everything that's going on in the world right now. I get it, but it's very extreme, especially for how old is Steam Deck now? The OLED is it 3 years old?
Well,
yeah,
4 years old. Yeah, OLED is 3. The original is 4.
Yeah, we'll just say 4.5, right? Because they're mostly using the same parts. It's just
right.
It's 4.5 years old, and the chip in it was not the best when it came out. It was
right.
Middle of the road.
And I think, and I would assume this is where you're going to transition to anyways, it wasn't so much the Steam Deck, it was Steam Machine, the Steam Frame. It's what are these things going to cost if this device, like you're saying, a 4.5-year-old device, the premium side of it is $1,000 now. It's just shocking. It just makes everything very unaffordable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was, I cannot, okay, so before we get to, I got a bunch of questions that I want to ask you guys, but before we get to those, the first question that I think that I want to ask is, without talking about other hardware, just the Steam Deck, do you feel like now you would still recommend that hardware at this price to somebody?
No, absolutely not.
What about you, Jimmy?
No, not at the price. Like, it's tough because in like half my brain, I have the Steam Deck and it's my favorite. It's the one I go to. But like at this point, like this late in the generation, the prices they're charging, looking at where everyone else is at, if you already have a Steam library, I would just hold out for whatever's next at this point. Like if you're one of these magical people who never bought a handheld, have a big Steam library, don't want to, get a Switch and start a Nintendo library concurrently, I would just wait at this point because I don't know if I'd recommend anything else either.
That's fair. Okay, so do you think that Valve is, I mean, look, we've lived in this era of the prices going up and going up and going up. And for the most part, I always feel like there's some things that when the price goes up, eventually it comes back down. Do you guys think it's ever going to come back down? Or do we think this is now the new normal?
I'm hopeful that the prices will go back down, but it is unfortunately starting to seem like a new normal. Because, just forget the Steam Deck for just a second. We obviously see on the console side, we're in an unprecedented era where you were better off buying an Xbox or a PlayStation in 2020 than you are in 2026, when normally the prices go down. And now this has obviously affected Valve, with the Steam Deck and most likely their upcoming devices. So I think it won't be at this high extreme. I think it will come down some, but I think going back to what we consider normal pricing levels, I think those days are long gone.
Go ahead, Jimmy.
I don't know how much these companies care about this at this point, but like, I feel like if you get a not insignificant amount of people to pay these new prices for any of it, lowering the price makes them feel like a sucker. And so what I would think is going to happen is they'll just say it is what it is throughout the rest of this generation and then try to figure out a way to have the next generation of the Xbox with the Helix, the PS6, Switch is going to stay wherever it is, Steam Deck 2, they'll do whatever they can to make those have a better entry level cost, like starting cost, and say, okay, fresh starting point for everyone who wants to jump on board. And they have like a very morbid benefit to do that because people are going to look at how this generation played out where the prices just went up as it went on, and they're going to feel like, panic. They're going to be like, well, the cheapest price I'm ever going to get it is potentially going to be right now at the start. So I'm going to do what I can to be there from the jump. So it's like a benefit to them in a weird, bad way. It's not good. It's just like a weird backhanded benefit.
Well, not only that, but scalpers.
Right.
Oh, yeah. I hate to add on to that. I don't take credit for this. Someone else said this, but they were like, think of it this way: when this next generation hardware comes out, you can still sell it at this current price because early adopters will pay whatever they want. And to your point, scalpers, we obviously know people will pay an extreme price to get the new thing. So you can launch the devices at these inflated prices, and then you can get it back to where, oh, now we're bringing the price down. So now you look like a hero later in the generation, and more people can adopt it, which not a fan of. But yeah. I heard that and I go, wait, yeah, I could totally see that happening.
And then you just, you said something I thought was really interesting. You said people pay for the new hotness. The Steam Deck at $900 and whatever $950 just sold out again.
I know.
Within hours. I made my video, and my screenshots from when I was like editing my video showed that it was still in stock. But then by the time my video posted, I got a bunch of comments saying, nope, it's out of stock. It's gone. They're all gone now.
That's insane.
Yeah. It's where we are.
I tweeted that. I was like, I'm legit shocked, but it went back in stock. So maybe I saw people were running into issues who were trying to buy it, like running into like the cart issue that the controller had. So that's not good either, because it shows a lot of people were lining up to buy it at that price, which again, just galvanizes them probably to just keep prices a little bit high, because they can always fall back on like, it's not our fault.
You guys keep buying it. If you guys wouldn't buy it, maybe we wouldn't raise the price so much. I mean, I know they really don't have a choice. Like every time that we've talked on this show about about price range, prices going up, prices getting higher and higher. Always I see in the comments, it's not because of all of the reasons that you're saying, it's because of corporate greed. And I've always kind of fought back against that. I've usually said, well, I mean, at worst, it could be both. But, you know, when you have the AI Rampocalypse shortage happening, and then you had the tariffs, and then you tack on top of that the war in Iran, all of these things together mean that making electronics and shipping them is really, really expensive to get things anywhere. And I feel like I don't think that there's a person at Valve that looked at this price and said, yeah, let's raise the price. I'm really happy about raising that price. And I don't think that's true at Sony, and I don't think that's true at Microsoft. I think that they felt like they had to, because otherwise they're going to start losing money. Now, there are people that would say, well, they're billion-dollar corporations. They could afford to lose some money. So why don't they do that? Well, you know, that's a completely different conversation. If you're asking me to make a I don't know, a wing nut and sell it for less than it cost me to make it, I'm not going to do that.
Right. Yeah. I have to see evidence of it being corporate greed for me to call it corporate greed, right? And there's like clear evidence that RAM and storage are extremely expensive, because if you go to Micro Center right now, like a 2 terabyte SSD used to be what, like $180, $175, and now they're like $1,000. Like that's crazy. I was just on PS Direct looking at the Western Digital, you know, the PlayStation branded ones, which are marked up a little bit just any time of like the world, but they're on sale right now, the 2 terabyte one, for $1,000. And it's like, I know for a fact I paid like $200 for that 4 or 5 years ago. So like, that's what I see. So it's like, yeah. And you look at someone like Valve, they're, you know, they make a lot of money off of Steam, but like the hardware team is like what, 10, 20 people max. They are coming into this as a new player. They don't have those relationships built up with the suppliers. They're going for a much lower volume. So you can see how everything just very quickly piles on top of itself for them in a negative way in terms of cost.
Yeah, if you look at Nintendo, they only raised the price of the Switch to $50. But they also have these very long-standing relationships with suppliers, so they can buy so much inventory at once. And when you're buying a lot of inventory at once, usually the people who are selling to you are going to be like, oh, well, we can cut you a deal on that because you're buying X million units or whatever.
Exactly.
And so they don't get hit by it as bad. But then you look at somebody like Valve, who the Steam Deck, and, you know, we'll talk about the machine in a minute. They're super niche devices. As much as the people who watch this channel are all like, yeah, Steam Deck, Steam Machine, like most people see the Steam Deck and they're like, that's a weird looking Nintendo Switch. And like, that's just the way that people think about it. Like, there's so few people that are going to buy these things. So Valve can't do the same thing that Nintendo can, because if they tried, they'd have a bunch of Steam Decks sitting in inventory and they'd be like, ain't nobody buying them now.
Yeah. And I don't know, in my mind, this makes sense, but I have nothing to back this up. I feel like if there's a lot of people saying they should just keep it out of stock until they can get them for the right price or whatever. But like, when the company, like the corporation that they have wherever making these parts, eventually just clear up the machines or the space in their factories for someone else who's actually going to produce a product eventually.
And that's the point.
I don't know like that's just like where I came up with in my head.
No, I think you're pretty spot on with that. And then it also goes back to the analogy I was making before. People are buying them at this price. So why would you stop? They're not going to stop. We might not like it. We're obviously talking about it, but there is a subset of people out there that go $9.49, sign me up. I want it, so I'm going to buy it. Same whenever the Steam Machine and the frame comes out at, I don't even want to think about what the price is going to be, but there's going to be it will sell out in minutes when it goes live on the you know, on the Steam store. So they're not going to stop. And to your point, the companies that are actually their partners that are actually manufacturing these devices, they need work. They have things they have to do. So if Valve isn't going to be a customer, they're going to go to someone else that will. Now Valve doesn't have a partner to actually manufacture the devices that the people want, regardless of what the price is. So they have to do it, unfortunately.
And that could have been exactly what happened here, right? Like they could have said to Valve, shit or get off the pot, start making some
Pretty
Steam
much.
Decks. Here's what it costs. And Valve's like, guess we got to charge this. Even breaking even, I feel like with the expense of this stuff, I mean, that's how high it gets ratcheted up. And like, that's a really bad place to be in all the way around, honestly. Yeah. Like I do not envy them at all.
No, not even a little. Paris, I don't know if you clicked on the link or not. Hopefully not, because I have a question for you.
Oh, sure. Okay, I didn't click anything.
It's malware, okay. By the way.
There were some people. So the reason Jimmy brought that up about people saying that they should just not make one at all is I posted a poll over on my YouTube channel, and I said, which would you prefer? No Steam Deck available at all, or Steam Deck available at $789? And my question to you, Paris, is what percent of people do you think said no Steam Deck available at all would be a better option?
30%.
30%. No, it was actually 59%.
Okay.
That is insane to me.
Here's my guess, though. Here's my guess, though, about, because you did this on your channel, so these are people that actively watch. They probably already own a Steam Deck.
Yeah.
That's why. So they're like, just don't make them then, because I wouldn't buy it. I already have one.
I mean, don't you care about other people?
Yeah.
There are really like a shocking amount of people, Paris, on both of our channels who, like, way more than you would think, are commenting, I was saving up my money and I just had enough, and then this happens. And you're like, 4.5 years in, did you just find out about it? Like, I assumed that like 99% of people who wanted a Steam Deck already had one, because
you would
the last time we got sales numbers was like 2 years ago, and they weren't even from Valve. And it's like, they might be in the like 3 to 4 to 5 million range. Like, who knows? So like, I don't know. I guess there are a weirdly large amount of people comparatively to other consoles.
Well, hey, at these prices, I would have to save up too. So I understand their pain to try and get it. So.
Well, and you know, it might take a long time to save up the money to buy an expensive thing like that. And I know at $400, it wasn't super expensive, but for some people, $400 is really expensive. And maybe they were saving up for the top tier one, and now the top tier one is 40% higher than it was at launch.
Yeah.
All right. So Steam Deck is really expensive. It sucks. Nobody's happy about it. Except for scalpers, probably, because they'll be able to get even more money or something. I don't know. But here's my question to you guys. What is it like if somebody walked up to you on the street and said, I want a handheld right now, and I got some money in my pocket, what would you tell them to buy? Paris, I'm going to start with you, man. What would you tell them?
Believe it or not, right now, I would tell them to go get the Asus, the Ally X, the Xbox Ally X, however the naming convention on it goes, because at price versus the performance, you're getting more for bang for your buck, so to speak, out of that device than you would out of the Steam Deck. Because again, the Steam Deck is 4.5 years old. So that's what I would say now until the price of those go up, because they eventually will. Yeah, I mean, I'm like Jimmy. I prefer the Steam Deck. That is my preferred handheld.
Oh, really? I thought you were like all about the Ally X.
Oh, no, you should go see the review we did on Kind of Funny. I even said it during the Ally X review. I was like, no, I prefer the Steam Deck. Okay. It's just the ergonomics of it. Just
nice.
Again, SteamOS, just everything about it, UI, I just prefer what Valve has done, obviously. So that, again, if you watch the video when I find out the price of this, you'll see why I was like, oh my God, I was so shocked, because
it's all adding
such
up
a crazy
now.
price. But I have the Xbox Ally X. I mean, I like it. I actually took it on my trip to Japan. It was fine, but I would rather have a Steam Deck. So that will always be the one that I would recommend. But now that we have these price increases, just go get the Xbox Ally X.
What operating system are you running on it? Did you try like SteamOS or Bazite or anything?
Oh, you mean on the Xbox? Well, okay. Yeah. So I have multiple. I have the original Rogue Ally, right? So that one I'm actually running SteamOS.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And Bazite, I had Bazite on it before it. But yeah, I prefer SteamOS when it comes to this. So again, because I know I'm viewed more as like the Xbox guy. Trust me, I have said multiple times, I've given a lot of feedback to Microsoft and Xbox about you got a lot of work to do with Windows because this is wrong, that's wrong, you need to fix it. And they know, but they're so far behind what Valve has done with SteamOS that it's going to take them a while to get there. I mean, they've made some improvements, but there's still a lot of work to do.
Big improvements, like having a keyboard that you can interact with the controller and Windows. Like, seriously, I'm not even being a dick. Like, that was huge. I was like, thank God. Because I have a Windows PC. I have a SteamOS PC. The Windows is for multiplayer. And like, just having that little extra, I was like, that's all I wanted. That's all I needed.
Yeah.
Sorry, my wife is distracting me. So, Jimmy, which one are you recommending? What handheld are you going to say?
Total opposite of Paris and say the original ROG Ally Z1E. Get it used. You can get these all day long for like $350. They have a great chip. And they have a really weirdly big fan community who are making like battery add-ons to extend the battery. You can you just have to worry about upgrading the SSD because the SD card slot is a little messed up. But then you pay $350 for that. You use it for a couple of years. Get in on the next generation of all this stuff with these like Strix Halo chips and this new like Intel chip and all the bigger performing stuff that's eventually going to come out. And that thing, I used it a lot, and I think it's pretty good. Like, it's not my favorite, but it's also not bad.
Yeah, you made a good point about used. I'm sorry. I wasn't even thinking about that till you said. I was like, oh yeah, go get an older one used.
If we're talking new, I think you're right. 100%. Because like then you have $1,000 to spend right now. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you buy that for sure. Put Bazite or SteamOS on it. You could even dual boot, right? Like if you can figure out how to get a 2 terabyte SSD for a decent price, or if you've got one lying around, you can split it. SteamOS Windows, like that'll last you a long time too. So you could wait it out with that. But if I'm just cheap and I've had to be scrappy before, so like I can see the Jimmy from when my PS3 died and I had to trade a console for it, where I'd be like, yes, ROG Ally original used, and then baby it.
Yeah. So for me, I think that it would depend on how attached you are to playing your games on Steam. If you're definitely attached to playing your games on Steam, then I would say probably the Xbox Ally, not the X though. The X is, it is more powerful than the Steam Deck, but it's not that much more powerful than the Steam Deck. You're going to get like 10 more frames per second or something like that. So if you want to play the latest and greatest games, then sure, the Xbox Ally X. But I think just the white Xbox Ally, and then just boot Windows off of there and throw SteamOS, because I'm with Paris on this. I very much prefer not using Windows if I have the ability. So
and
like
it's literally a Steam Deck chip wise. Like
it's almost exactly the same chipset. Like it's very, very similar. So you're going to get about the same power. And I think that's like $500 right now, which is a really good deal. If, however, you are not attached to playing games on Steam at all, and you don't already have a massive collection, I think I would probably recommend the Switch, because the Switch 2 is $500, or well, right now it's $450. It'll be $500. It'll be
in September, I think they said. Yeah.
And
by
you
the
get a game
way,
with
what
it,
a
of your
friggin'
choice.
amazing way for them to do that is to say, by the way, we're raising the price months down the road.
Yeah.
We're warning everybody
I
now so you can get it now instead of, we raised the price yesterday, by the way. I think that's a great way to do it. But anyway, as I was saying, Nintendo, the Switch 2, I have problems with it because I already have most of the games on other platforms. And so then going to play a game on my Switch 2 always feels like, well, I could just do this someplace else. But if I only had one way to play, I mean, the Switch 2's got some pretty decent ports, and the fact that DLSS works on that chipset so well means that you're going to have some games that play really well on that system. And on top of that, you don't have to do all of the PC shenanigans that you always have to get up to whenever you're dealing with a handheld PC, which I have no problem with, but a lot of people out there, they might.
Right.
So none of us agree. We all came up with
we all gave
different
good choices.
Yeah.
I think the thing is, it used to be so easy.
Yeah.
It
Steam
used
Deck
to be
for
easy.
me,
You just say,
every
you get a
time.
Steam Deck. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
It's not easy anymore. All right. Speaking of not easy, does this change your price prediction for the Steam machine? Paris, you said you didn't want to think about it, but too bad you're thinking about it, baby. What do you think?
I'm gonna say the 512 model is $1,000.
Oh man,
that's what I think.
Jimmy?
2 terabyte. Oh, go ahead.
All right.
No, 2 terabyte. Go ahead.
Oh no, and I have a range on this anywhere between 1,200 to 1,400.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm going to be the turbo extreme naive optimist. I'm going to say we know, thanks to Insider Gaming, right, that they wanted to hit 800 with the just 512 no controller. I'm looking at the Steam Deck at 400 and I'm just imagining that better time. I'm going to say that they're going to eat the cost and get just the 512 with no controller to 800. And then everything above that starts at 1,000 and goes up to where Paris said maximum price $1,350, $1,400 for the 2 terabyte with the controller. They look at the backlash they've gotten. They say, wow, people are really mad. We handled this so poorly. It would really help us out to have one model that's at a real affordable price. That's my pie in the sky wish dream. But do I believe that'll happen? I don't know. I doubt it.
So all along, I had been saying, well, when they first announced it, my guess was 650. And then when Rampocalypse hit, I was like, okay, I guess maybe 750. But now, and I put out a video the day before all this happened saying the Steam Deck or the Steam machine is not going to be over $1,000.
We made the same video.
Why. Oh, did we?
Yeah. I posted mine on Monday. Yet. Literally, I watched yours. It's literally the same video.
Oh, no. So I looked at, so the reason I made that is because I saw people talking about there's a comma in the price on the back end something. And I was like, that does not mean that it's going to be over $1,000. And what I should have said in the video is these things that are indicating that it's over $1,000 do not mean that it is going to be over $1,000. And I still stand by the logic that I said in that video. But now I think I was wrong, and it will be over $1,000. And I think that it's going to be $999.99, and then there's tax, so over $1,000 for the cheapest one. And then the most expensive one, I think, is going to be like $1,500, or maybe even more than that, just because they're they're gonna. I don't know. It's so hard to get the prices low with RAM and storage being so in demand right now. And the only way that it's not going to be over $1,000 is if the whole reason that they made a price bump of the Steam Deck to be a $300 price bump was so that they could say, okay, we're going to bump the price of this thing, which we don't really is not going to be super popular anymore. And instead, that'll help us make up for the money that we're going to lose on the Steam machine. But that's some serious copium,
Yeah,
it is.
And
it definitely is.
I don't think it's worth taking that hit reputationally, right? I feel like I might be overestimating the smarts at Valve, but I feel like if that comes up in a conversation, it's we probably shouldn't piss off the audience that really helped us start all this, right? By jacking up the price on this to make this cheaper. It seems like overthinking it for not a lot of gain.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that they're in a really tight place and they just don't have any options. And I feel like Valve is cursed.
Mm-hmm.
When the original Steam machine came out, that was definitely their fault. They launched it, they didn't have Proton. The controller was not something that everybody would look at and say, oh, I'll try that. And then when they launched the Steam Deck, they had the chip shortage because of the pandemic. So the whole launch got stretched out over months and months and months. It kind of took the wind out of their sails. And now this, right as soon as they announced this hardware, the Rampocalypse hits, and I just like, maybe Valve shouldn't make hardware because clearly they're causing all of these things.
Right. Yeah.
I look at it as in all these times of strife, they've managed to get it out. And, you know, for most of its life cycle, it's been a great price. The OLED's a great upgrade. So they're scrappy. They keep getting screwed, but they keep getting back up. And I appreciate that. But yeah.
I'm going to do a minor complaint on here right now as far as you saying Steam. They come out with these great devices. I always wanted, it took me forever to get a Steam Deck. I wasn't able to get one right away. And I'm still waiting on the Steam controller to this day. Yeah. Don't have one.
Did Carrie ever get his, Bill?
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if he made a video.
He was probably just done with it by then.
He was probably like, oh, it arrived. I don't care about it.
So you got in the reservation window. Have you gotten an email like to buy it?
No. I have it reserved. I've yet to get an email to actually buy it. And the day of launch, I did the thing where I bought Steam credits. I had it sitting there in the wallet. I'm ready to go, and chaos. So I'm still waiting. And it was so funny because I knew, I can say this now. I knew the Steam controller was coming when I was in Japan, right? Because someone told me, and I was like, oh man, because they were reviewing it. And so when I came back, I was ready, and nope, still here waiting. Hopefully,
the amount of people who got it early, who were just like carrying it around at that Japan thing, I heard from people who were there, and I was like, I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous.
Yeah.
People are just sharing that they had it. Like, Ace is as close to publicly as you can get without just tweeting it out. It's kind of funny. That sucks, awesome, dude. I hope they fill your order soon.
It does.
Hopefully, if in the middle of the show, Paris is like, y'all shut up. I gotta focus right now. We know exactly why.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, let's move on from Valve, but not moving on from the Rampocalypse, because I think that this is a related story. Nintendo was asked during one of their shareholder meetings, how come you don't have, what are you doing with, I want more Switch 2 exclusives, like the games that only run on Switch 2 and don't run on Switch 1, which I think, for the most part, has been my biggest complaint about the Switch 2 is I could play all of these games on the Switch 1 already with very few exception. And Mr. Furukawa, who is the president of Nintendo, he said, I believe it's important that we consider how to expand the entire software business, including titles for both Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2, instead of focusing only on the sales of Nintendo Switch 2 software. So my question to you guys is, do you think that this is because Nintendo knows that adoption for the Switch 2 is slowing down, and it's slowing down not just because the Nintendo Switch 2 is about to have its price go up $50 in September, but because people just have less freaking money right now? Like, everything is making people tighten their wallets, tighten their belts. And so Nintendo's saying, you know what? If we focus on Nintendo Switch 2 and people can't afford to get a Nintendo Switch 2, we're going to hurt our business overall. Or do you think it's because console generation, like the lines between the generations, have just been blurrier and blurrier over the last few gens? Jimmy, what do you think?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, Paris is going to say what I was going to say.
Oh, it's all the above of what you're saying. It's literally everything that you just said. But I do think the urgency right now is, again, I said it in the when I freaked out about the Steam Deck price. I said it then. I was like, people are just going to keep what they got. People are not going to run out and go buy new hardware. They're going to keep what they have. And if people aren't adopting new hardware, then you got to make these games run on the old hardware because that's where the people are. So this goes on, obviously, beyond just Switch into Xbox and PlayStation as well, because the prices have gone up. People don't have disposable income anymore across the board. And to your point, the lines have started to blur anyways. Like, I can give you a great example with Modern Warfare 4 for Call of Duty. We're in 2026 and we're finally getting a Call of Duty that is no longer playable on the Xbox One or the PlayStation 4. So look how long that took. So this, again, to what you're saying, Nintendo's looking at it and going, we know we have, isn't there like over 100 million Switches out there? Probably more than that, right? But we have all these customers that have these devices in their hands. Let's make sure these games still run on those devices. And if you look at Nintendo's history, this isn't unprecedented for them, because I remember when the Wii came out, that Zelda that came out during that time was still playable. You could play it on the GameCube. And I think even...
Oh, right, yeah.
What was... there was
Twilight
another...
Princess.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and Zelda Breath of the Wild did the same thing. It was on the Wii U and the Switch.
Right. So obviously not the entire library. They were kind of cross-gen, but they were making sure their big game that they knew was going to do big numbers was available on the most devices they could possibly, have it on. And I think this has now been heightened even more because of just everything that's going on right now, where, yeah, you probably should have your games available on the legacy hardware if possible, because there's more opportunity for someone to go buy it that way.
Yeah.
Jimmy, anything to add to that?
I think they saw how many people stuck with their PS4 this generation and how long they did, and are like, I mean, yeah. And if they can get it up and running, like Paris said, there's 150 million Switches out there, and a lot of the audience on the Switch is casual, right? Like, they got the biggest spike when Animal Crossing came out. Those are the people who are going to wait forever to upgrade, right? Like, until they have a reason, like the next Animal Crossing, to buy a Switch 2. They're just going to stick with the Switch. And if the thing's just sitting there, like, why? And you can get the game ported to it, why not? Make the money.
Go ahead.
Yeah,
Chris.
and you know what the reason used to be to finally upgrade? The price would drop.
Yeah.
And that's not happening anymore. So people are holding off even longer before they actually upgrade hardware.
Dude, I just saw an ad from 2017 Black Friday where you could get a PS4 with Uncharted 4 or Call of Duty Infinite Warfare for $250. And I was like, that's not even 10 years ago. It's on the edge of 10 years ago, but that's not even 10 years ago. That's crazy.
I know.
Very. Do you guys think that do you think there's a silver lining here, in that means that games will start targeting weaker hardware? Like, we already saw Larian Studios said, because of the RAM shortage, we have to, how did they phrase it? We have to start optimizing our game way sooner than we would normally do in the pipeline. Do you think that this huge pain in the ass that we have now could mean better optimized games, so that when you sit down, you don't need as much power to play those games?
If there's a silver lining, that is it, because I think that's what's going to happen, especially as we start transitioning into this next generation of gaming, which allegedly is going to start happening next year. It's going to be all over again. People are going to keep the hardware that they have right now, but games like The Witcher 4 and obviously Grand Theft Auto 6 and all these things that are going to start coming out over the next few years, the devs are going to have to make sure that they're playable on current gen hardware. I was just talking about this the other day. Gen 9, which is the current generation, will be going well into the 2030s at this rate. There's just no choice. So to your point, devs have no choice but to optimize for, what are we talking now? Really, like 7-year-old hardware. And they have no choice. They're going to have to.
Yeah. And they trained people this generation to hang on to their stuff longer. And I'd argue like the price situation now is worse than the shortages during COVID, because during COVID, the prices were good, but you just couldn't get the stuff. Now you can get the stuff, but it's like so ridiculously expensive. But if this year is an indication, that is a good silver lining, because so many games this year are so well optimized. Like Resident Evil, Pragmata, Monster Hunter Stories 3, Forza, 007's running phenomenally. Lego Batman is an Unreal Engine 5 game that runs great on the Steam Deck. Like, it's like every game this year has just been killer PC and console ports, except for, like, there's always outliers, but the vast majority of what I've played this year has been the best optimized stuff pretty much this entire generation. So if that happens, I'm happy, because I'm a performance stickler, and it's been the least stressful year for me.
little side note, because you mentioned 007, and I reviewed 007, and during most of the review period, I was thinking, man, it wasn't running that great on PC.
Yeah.
It was doing all this stuff, and then that day one patch came out like a couple days before launch. Night and day.
The one day one patch in history that worked. The only one. I was talking to Jake Baldino while he was reviewing it, and he was like telling me it wouldn't hold 60 on his 5090, and I was like, oh, and then I got it on my 9070 XT. It's running great. I was like, well, that's weird. The day one patch actually worked.
Yeah, I was running on a 5090, had DLSS maxed out, multi-frame, all that stuff, and it was barely getting over 100 frames, right? Like at 4K. And then all of a sudden that day one patch came out and it just like doubled in performance, and all the glitches and freezing, all that stuff went away. So again, to your point, hey, we're in a great age of optimization because there you go. They got it. So by the time everyone had it available, it was perfectly optimized.
It's kind of shocking if you go back to that PlayStation State of Play they did where they revealed the gameplay. Go look at that. It was running horribly. Like it was stuttering like all over the place. Like textures were popping in. And in just a few short months, they put in the work.
Yeah, they absolutely did.
Well, speaking of the State of Play, we've got another State of Play right around the corner. It is going to be on the 2nd. So that's next Tuesday. 2 p.m. Pacific, translated to your times if you're watching this right now, so you guys can figure out when it's happening. Apparently, it's going to be about 70 minutes long, and they're going to be talking about Wolverine and God of War, and they also mentioned Onimusha: Way of the Sword. Insomniacs is that's the Wolverine game. Here's my question for you guys: 70 minutes is huge. That's like a pretty long State of Play. What are you guys really hoping to see outside of the ones that we know are coming?
I don't even know. Oh yeah, you go first.
Oh yeah, Intergalactic from Naughty Dog. I think that would be the big one to see that we don't know about. I would imagine. I mean, they have a lot of studios that have been pretty quiet, that we just have no idea what they're working on. So I would imagine another surprise or two, but I think of something big from one of their premier studios. It would be that. I mean, there's a lot of rumors about that new God of War game coming from Cory Balrog. So that's something I would imagine we probably see there as well.
Do you think Rockstar shows up with GTA 6 to talk about it, or do they want to have their own stage?
They pretty much confirmed in their shareholder meeting, was that last week or whenever it was, that they're not going to start ramping up their marketing until it sounds like the end of June, into the summer. So it looks like, because to the point, they could just put a logo up and it's going to make billions. They don't have to do anything. So they don't need to be at a State of Play or an Xbox showcase. They can just do their own thing, put out the trailer at their time, and just run their own marketing campaign. And it's, as we already know, it's going to be the biggest selling game probably in history. So yeah, I highly doubt it.
What are you looking forward to, Jimmy?
I am looking forward to Wolverine. I'm excited for that. I am excited about this God of War, but a lot of the games they've been talking about are out now. Like, what's Capcom going to do now that they can't show Pragmata, right? That's been at like every State of Play for years. So I'm excited for stuff I don't know about. It's like nice because a lot of the first party stuff they've been talking about is out now. So it's like, okay, I know some of the stuff is leaked, but beyond Wolverine and Intergalactic and this God of War, I want to see something new, and I want to see some new third-party stuff because they usually have some cool, like indie things I've never heard of that, I immediately add to my wish list.
I'm looking forward to the things that I have no idea about, and honestly, Pragmata has kind of changed. Like, when I saw Pragmata gameplay, I looked at it and I said, it just doesn't look all that interesting. And then I ended up picking it up because it got such good reviews, and I was playing it, and I was like, I mean, Jimmy will tell you, I was like, this is in my game of the year list. I freaking love this game. It's so damn good. And so what I'm really looking forward to, not necessarily the announcements, but playing some of these games that I don't take a shining to right away. Like, I already know that I'm going to be hyped for Wolverine and God of War, but I'm looking forward to finding something that I'm like, oh, okay, this is a shock. And I'm very, very excited about that. But Paris, I love that you brought up Intergalactic, because that's the one, all I can think of is like they showed no gameplay. It was just like this trailer, and it was like, but it was the vibe that it had with the sneakers and the Porsche spaceship and all that stuff. I was like, okay, this speaks my language. I'm very interested in checking this out. So I hope to see like extended gameplay. That's what I want to see from that game.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'd go as far as extended gameplay, but I think we definitely need to get another look at it, because that wasn't Game Awards last year. That was 2024
ago.
Game Awards, I think. So they definitely should show, like, if they don't show it at all, I will be disappointed. Like, they got to show something from this game. You were mentioning Pragmata a second ago. I remember a year ago at Summer Game Fest getting to get hands-on with it, as well as Resident Evil, and then they showed us Onimusha. And I'm like, Capcom is really on to something here. And now here we are. We played Resident Evil. We've now played Pragmata. I'm highly anticipating Onimusha to be shown there as well, because it showed very well a year ago. So I'm really imagining what it's going to look like. I think it'll be even better. So this is, if anything, this is shaping up to be the year of Capcom, if anything.
Yeah. I just remembered there's a big rumor that Code Veronica is getting remade. So that would be nice to see if that's true.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one of my favorite Resident Evils, but you can get soft locked a lot in that game. So I would love a remake of it, because it's painful to go back and play.
Was that the one that was on the Dreamcast?
Yep.
Okay. I have a fun story about Code Veronica. So I used to work as tech support for an internet, for an ISP. And I was the overnight guy. So I was all by myself in the office, and everybody's asleep in the middle of the night. So ain't nobody online, right? And so I would bring in my Dreamcast and plug it into the monitors at work, and I would play a game in order to stay awake all night, right? And my buddy who worked at KFC would close up and then bring over just a bunch of food, and we would play Marvel versus Capcom. And I'm sitting there playing Resident Evil, and I got all the lights off, and I'm playing the game, and I'm the only one in the office, so I got the speakers cranked up as loud as they can go, and I'm playing the game, and I can just pause it and answer the phone if somebody calls. And I hear something. I pause the game, and I'm like, what the heck was that sound? I wasn't sure what it was, so I went back to playing. I didn't know he was coming over. So finally, after I kept hearing the sound, I paused it, and I walked into my boss's office, and that's where I used to be a smoker. We would step out through the window onto the fire escape and smoke. And that's also how you got into the building, was going up the fire escape. And I stuck my head out the window, and my friend was right there holding the KFC, and we screamed really, really loud. And
that's awesome.
It's just a fun story that I always remember because of Code Veronica. And I don't think I ever finished that game, because I usually don't finish games, but I would love to see it remade.
Resident Evils are so short, especially the remakes.
Yeah, but I have no attention span, and if I can't find something, if I get frustrated at any point, I just put the game down.
Like, I'm done.
And I'm like, oh, I can't find this thing. I thought that I knew what the puzzle was, but I didn't figure it out in 15 seconds, and so I get bored and stop. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's move on and talk about Fable got delayed. We mentioned GTA earlier. Matt Booty went on the Xbox podcast. He went on the Xbox podcast and basically said, yeah, well, we don't want to release our game when GTA is right around the corner. I don't blame him. Basically, he said, there are certainly some strategic things that are out there and things we want to bring clarity to, but the focus here, oh no, that's a different quote. I can't find the quote where he said we're avoiding GTA.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I found it refreshing that they just said it, because when you see movies are always moving their dates to avoid like the big tentpole movies. And they're always like, oh, we just had to move it because of this reason or that reason. I'm like, just say it's because you're afraid of Marvel. It's fine. Be afraid of Marvel. Like everybody's going to go see the Avengers movie. Nobody's going to go see your little tiny film that week. So just move it to a different week and admit that that's why you're doing it. So I like that they were doing that. February, okay, fine. I've been looking forward to Fable for a really long time. I can wait just a few more months. Paris, what do you think about this move?
I mean, it was the right move. It was the right move. It was, ironically enough, we kind of funny. We do a fantasy critic draft at the beginning of the year, and we did it before they did that dev direct, and no one would take Fable because back then we were saying Fable's not going to come out this year. With GTA 6, they're going to avoid that at all costs, so no one drafted it. Then they do that dev direct and say it's coming this year. Then, someone went ahead and drafted it. But it was interesting. A lot of people still weren't convinced, but Playground Games kept saying over and over, it is coming in 2026. They just recently, I want to say as recently as last week, they said it was coming in 2026. So I kind of was looking at the calendar of their releases, and I'm like, the only place this makes sense is December, which isn't great. I don't think you should have a big game like that come out in December, but it was like, there's no way you're putting it out in November against GTA 6. And here we are. They're not going to put it out in December because that's a bad release window. And they'd be crazy to put it out in November against GTA 6. So, I mean, think about it. They even put Call of Duty in October. They're avoiding GTA 6 altogether. So this makes the most sense. Give them a little more time. Put it out in February where it will be the big fish in the small pond, and it'll have all the attention, and they have more time to optimize it too, which is never a bad thing. So good. I say great. There's more than enough games coming out in the second half of this year that we don't need Fable in 2026.
You know what occurs to me is I hadn't thought about Modern Warfare. If I were like putting the pins on the calendar and putting stuff up, I would have put Fable out in October, and I would have put Call of Duty out in February instead. And here's the reason why. Fable's a single player game. GTA is also a single player game, but it's going to have that multiplayer stuff. And Modern Warfare it's 4, right?
4. Yeah. 4.
Yeah, 4. Modern Warfare 4 is a game. Yes, it has a single player campaign, but it also is definitely multiplayer focused game. And when you have a game where everybody's playing the multiplayer focused game and then a new multiplayer focused game comes out, that multiplayer focused game just crashes and people you know what I mean?
But I doubt that GTA Online is this year.
Yeah.
It'll be next year. They'll stagger it. Again, this is Rockstar. This is why they make all the big bucks. Everyone will be excited to play the single player, and then 6 months from now, or maybe not even that long, 3 months later, they'll come out with GTA Online. It'll be like a brand new launch of the game all over again.
And then they'll have the PC version, and that'll be another launch. And then they'll have the Switch 2 version, and then the PS6
and then
version.
the remakes.
Yeah.
I didn't play GTA 5, and I've never played GTA Online, so I didn't realize that they didn't come out at the same time.
Yeah, they stagger them. Yeah.
Oh,
it was a mess for a long time when it first launched, the online. It was not great. I'm excited for Fable. I'm glad they're taking all the time that they need. Optimize it, make the human characters look better than they do in Forza. Do what you got to do. Oh my
God, awful.
Yeah.
I love Forza. It's a great game, but the people, like the models in that game, are some of the worst that I have ever seen. Right. You called it Forza face, right? Or Forza face, right?
Because they've been like that. And they're getting weirder. Like if you go back to Forza Horizon 1, they look fine. Like they look like people from in any other game. But then progressively through each Horizon game, they get like less textures and less lighting. It's really weird. I don't know why that is, but it's just there's a regression in characters in those games. Which is I know because I've put so much damn time into this franchise.
Nice. Have you been playing Forza, Paris?
Oh yeah, that's why I was in Japan.
He lived there.
I didn't know you were in Japan.
I went to the real Forza Horizon in Tokyo. That was that trip I went on a few weeks ago. But yeah, I reviewed it. It's I mean, it's one of the best games this year, without a
Yeah,
doubt.
it's so good.
If there was ever a racing game that would win Game of the Year, it would be Forza Horizon 6.
Yeah, and 5 did. 5 got IGNs.
Well, yeah,
It came
IGN.
out.
Oh, I'm thinking, when I say it, I'm thinking Keighley
Yeah.
when I say that. But yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
IGN did give it their Game of the Year for Forza Horizon 5.
I love it, but I'll play it, but it's on the back burner for a while just because I have all the other games that came out right after Forza did.
Mhm.
Anyway, speaking of Xbox and what we were talking about before, we mentioned that we've got the State of Play coming on the 2nd. I guess that there's it's on the 7th, I think, is the Xbox one. Is it the 7th?
Yeah,
I forget
it's
the
the
date.
7th.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the 7th.
I forgot to put it in the show notes. But there's going to be nothing about Project Helix in there. It's only about the games, which I'm fine with. But
Yeah.
do you think that that's because they're second guessing because of hardware issues? Because personally, I'm like,
No.
don't start the generation. Just wait. Just wait.
No, a friend of mine, we had a debate about this in February before they even officially said it was Project Helix, because he thought it would be in this June showcase. I go, they're not going to put it in the June showcase. It's going to be November 15th. That's when you see the hardware. That's when they start talking specs about it, because it's the 25th anniversary of Xbox. And they'll use that date as, here's the future of Xbox, Project Helix, and here's
Xbox
the real
Prime.
Exactly. All that stuff. So that's my theory on it, that you'll get real specs and probably actually see it, maybe with the official name, on the 25th anniversary.
With The Rock.
What's the official name?
Yeah. They should. Honestly, they should.
Yeah.
Just bring the
For
Rock,
real. Like,
do the whole
that'd
thing.
be sick.
Yeah.
He's got to wear that chain and the black,
Yeah.
the black shirt.
And his fanny pack. Yeah.
That's right.
Bring back that like cool factor. The early 2000s stuff is big again. People are buying resale Hollister stuff from when I was a kid. You need that energy back. Like, bring The Rock back. Just do it. Make it, shape it like an X. Bring back Game Fuel with Master Chief on it. Like, bring back my childhood.
Did you guys see that video where somebody made a giant Xbox that was shaped like an X, and they oh my
That's
God.
cool.
So when they first announced the original Xbox, they had like a thing there that was shaped like an X, right? So somebody basically recreated that. I think I saw this video last year. They recreated that, and then they ended up going to Microsoft's headquarters and interacting with Phil Spencer and talking about, I can't remember who made it, but when I remember seeing it, and I was like, that is one of the coolest things ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, speaking of one of the coolest things ever, one of my friends has been asking me for years to play The Witcher 3. And I always say no, because it says, here's his pitch to me. You could play this game for 300 hours. And then there's the DLC, which is another 300 hours. And I'm like, that is not appealing. I don't have an attention span for that. I'm not going to finish that game. Why should I even bother starting it, even though I own it? Okay. And now we have yet more DLC, which there were rumors about, but I honestly, I didn't believe the rumors. I figured, well, they're working on Witcher 4. They're not going to go back and redo new stuff in Witcher 3, but they are. And they're updating the system requirements for the game, which is cool, because that means, it's not cool if you're somebody who has an old system and you want to play something on it, but it's cool because that means that things might actually look nicer. That's kind of neat. But Witcher 3, the Wild Hunt Songs of the Past is the DLC. Jimmy, are you getting this?
Yeah. I played every Witcher game. I bought the original one the day I graduated high school in 2011. It was in the bargain bin at GameStop for $3, and I played it on my MacBook Pro boot camping Windows, and I loved it. And then I built a PC later that summer and bought the sequel, loved it. And then 3 was like generational. I drove out to Micro Center, I got the physical copy, installed it on my PC from the disc. It's such a good game. And I played it 2 or 3 times over the years. I played it on the Switch again when it came out. So hopefully they do the thing like where you can start with a fully leveled Geralt at the new DLC, because I've played everything and I don't need to spend that much time again, because it will suck me in. but I'm a huge Witcher fan.
Do you feel like if they did that for somebody who's new like me, and I could just jump in and just play the DLC and not worry about all that other stuff? You think, okay,
you can beeline through the story in The Witcher, and it's like 20 hours, I would say, I guess, right?
But I can't because I have no attention
Mm-hmm.
span. So what happens is I'm like, hey, there's a shiny thing over there, and then I get distracted. I never make it back to the main quest.
Question marks.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll say. First of all, you're talking to one of the biggest Witcher fans on the planet right now. So between me and Jimmy, the glazing is going to be off the charts.
Yeah.
Play The Witcher 3, get through the opening area, through Orchard, do the Bloody Baron quest line.
Yeah.
If you're not convinced after the Bloody Baron, then turn it off and never play it again. But when you are convinced, because you will be, you keep playing. And your short attention span will turn into, oh my God, I've been playing this for 300 hours.
Yeah, that's how it's gonna go.
It is that.
Yeah, but that's the problem. I don't want to spend 300 hours on one
You'll
game.
like
I
it.
want to play a
You'll
bunch of
enjoy
different
it.
games.
Just keep it on your Steam Deck or whatever handheld you use, and you just boot it up, do some side stuff once in a while, put it back down. It's an easy game to just jump into.
Yeah, I didn't play the original Witcher. I jumped in on Witcher 2 and actually was heavily modded. I think it was like called the Enhanced Edition or something like that. Yeah. They fixed a lot of the combat. And I'll never forget when they showed The Witcher 3 at the 2013 Xbox Showcase. And I'm thinking, no way. Nah, this won't be what they're showing right now. And I actually got to go to a behind closed doors to see it. And see, it was like I think that if you go look, there's a 45-minute demo of that online right now. That's what I saw behind closed doors. Blew me away. I'm like, oh my God, they're actually going to do this. The first real time I ever built a high-end gaming PC was for that game in 2015.
Me too. Yeah.
Because I was like, I think, what was it, a 980? I think was a GPU at the time, something like that. So, but anyways, just absolutely blew me away. And for me, it's top 3 game all time. I will tell you the expansions, Hearts of Stone is really good. Fantastic story in that. Blood and Wine is another Witcher game on its own.
That's what my buddy's always telling me.
On its own. And what they're saying with Songs of the Past is it is the same size as Blood and Wine. So they're putting some real effort into this. This isn't just a throwaway DLC. And that's the thing with CD Projekt Red. Their DLCs are typically just free content. Expansions is the paid stuff, and they put a lot of TLC into their expansions. I mean, they did the same with Phantom Liberty on Cyberpunk as well. So the story that I understand behind this, because again, I was lucky enough to go to the studio last year, just on a informal visit, nothing official. So I got to see where all the Witcher stuff was made. It's like, oh, here's where we did the voice recording. Here's where this, and these are all. So I'm the biggest fanboy in the freaking world walking through the studio, seeing all this stuff. But yeah, to your point about the rumors, I believed them. I was like, they're doing something. And I guess it's turning out now, it was supposed to come out this year, but they need more time. So it got pushed to 2027. So as a result, they're going to show it at Gamescom this year. So I will be at Gamescom because I have to be there to see it. But yeah, I'm very excited for this. It is, like I said, top 3 video game for me all time. That's just how much I love it. I think Geralt, the stories, the amazing quest lines that are in that game. Again, the expansion, there's just so much stuff to do. And I understand the anxiety people get with all the question marks on the map. I'm just used to it. It doesn't bother me. I've probably put in my multiple playthroughs, I got to be in the 600 or 700 hours at this point playing that game just over the years. And I will do a Death March run, just slow play it the rest of this year into 2027 leading up to Songs of the Past. And Death March is the highest difficulty in the game.
What are you more excited for, this or Witcher 4?
Man, that's a good question. By the way, shameless promotion on my YouTube channel. I did, after the Game Awards 2 years ago, I was one of the first people to interview them about The Witcher 4. So that was awesome. That's tough. I would say The Witcher 4 just because now because I think what Songs of the Past is going to do, this is a transition from Geralt to Ciri, which is probably gibberish to you right now, but it makes sense to people that played it.
I know what's going on.
Yeah. So I would say that. I mean, we obviously saw that tech demo of what they're doing with Unreal 5 from a visual standpoint. Yeah, I think I'm more excited for that because it's just new Witcher, whereas we're adding an expansion onto an 11-year-old game that I've played, numerous times at this point. I'm excited for both. I can't wait. I just feel like we're just going to get so much Witcher content. But yeah, if I had to choose, it would be The Witcher 4.
By the way, after the show, shoot me a link to that interview, and I'll put it in the show notes. So
yeah.
Check it out.
Yeah, let me grab it now.
Awesome. All right, let's talk about Modern Warfare 4. We kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, but we got a new one. I watched the trailer. I've never been a military shooter guy. I always prefer things that are more fantastical and ridiculous. But watching this and knowing that there's a campaign, like I know that there's always a campaign, but I was always under the impression that the campaigns were meh, and it was really people were just playing for the multiplayer. I think that this looks pretty damn interesting. I love the setting and what they were showing. This looks cool as hell. Jimmy, are you excited for Modern Warfare 4?
Yes. I don't know what happened to me, but when I hit the age of 30, something flipped in my head where I suddenly just freaking started loving military stuff and tactical shooters like Ready or Not and Ghost Recon and Gray Zone Warfare and all. I'm obsessed with these games. And then so I went back and I played through all the original Modern Warfares. Then I played through the new ones. And this is my favorite sub-series. And this one looks awesome, especially after 3, which was not really a campaign. They messed around with some Warzone mechanics in a single player setting, and it wasn't very good. So yeah, this realistic body cam style stuff I'm really interested in. That had me glued to the screen when they're in that little convenience store and you see the bomb come down. I'm yes. And the setup, the North-South Korea border thing, that's pretty interesting. It's genuinely new from this series. So I hope they nail it. I hope it's not just some random PMC villain or whatever, because they kind of fall into that trap a lot. But it seems really cool, especially after the last one, which I was way too out there for me.
I also like some of the actors that are in it. There's one guy whose name I don't know, but he's in Shrinking, which if you guys haven't watched Shrinking, you should watch Shrinking. It's freaking fantastic.
It's so good.
And as soon as I saw him in the trailer, I was like, "Oh, that's the guy that lives in the." I was Leonardo DiCaprio pointing at the thing. And then there's another guy who I think was in Task. Did you guys see Task?
Nope.
With Mark Ruffalo, and where it's it's really, really good. But there's a guy who is at the end with the beard who I was like, "Oh, that guy's in Task," I think. So if we're getting the these actors then maybe it'll grab me. You know what I mean?
This looks sick. I'm gonna watch this. I've never even heard of Task. Yeah.
Oh, it's phenomenal. You're going to love that show.
There's 2 guys running on the poster and one of them has an FBI vest. I'm like, I'm in. That's I love dad slop. It's my favorite kind of content.
Dad slop. All right. Paris, Modern Warfare 4. You hyped?
Yeah, I'm definitely hyped for it. I was, I had the privilege that my co-host he went to Infinity Ward. He was one of the people that got hands on with it, so he gave me all the deets. From the event and everything and his hands-on time with it. And he was pretty jazzed about it. I'm a Call of Duty guy. I'm not super hardcore Call of Duty, but I do love the Modern Warfare versions of Call of Duty. So they always pique my interest. And, this one had been long speculated, this was going to be the Call of Duty. Infinity Ward's really been working on this. This is going to be kind of that next generation of Call of Duty, and everything I've seen so far looks really good. I do like that they're going to Korea. I think that is a theater that is everyone's danced around, and the fact that they're going to embrace it. So like Jimmy said, I hope they really go all in with it, so we'll see. But it's the first Call of Duty that's only next gen. So expecting, somewhat of a visual upgrade. From what Danny did tell me about the multiplayer, he loved it, that he felt like they're slowing it down a little, you know. Wait, you might have to edit this.
Oh, okay. Let me just make a
I don't know
mark
if
there.
I'm supposed to say this
Is that
shit.
they're
I
slowing it
can't
down?
remember. I can't
That's
remember because
okay.
no one's talked about the multiplayer, have they? I don't think they have.
I don't know.
I
I didn't
have
look
no
into
idea.
it.
Yeah, just in case. I don't want to get
So it's
anybody
like
in trouble.
2019.
Yeah.
The last
yeah,
really
yeah.
good one, if you ask me. But
Yeah. So, yeah, I'll be careful with my words on that one. But
Paris exclusive.
re-edit. Yes. No
Okay.
Paris exclusive on that. But anyways, from everything, you know, that I've seen and heard about it, yeah, Modern Warfare 4 looks really good. So I'm definitely anticipating. I guess this is what, October 23rd it's coming out. So looking forward to that.
Yep, October 23rd.
I have
I
a
think it
question
looks
for
great.
you guys.
Yeah.
Do we believe them when they say that they're going to keep it tactical with the skins and like modern realistic military type skins? Or are we going to see Beavis and Butthead and Ghostface from Scary Movie 6 in this game?
If there's
If
an
I-
opportunity to make money, they're gonna find a way to make money. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
They said it.
you know
they
what they
said
could
it, but
do?
they've said it before, and then they give it like, you know, that first month of Call of Duty is great, where everyone's in Call of Duty skins, and then they do the season 1 drop, and then suddenly this random cartoon character from when I was a kid is killing me, and I'm like, well, I'm out.
Well, see, they could easily fix that. They could say, okay, you can buy skins, and so when you see your stuff playing, you can look like a transformer or whatever. But you could give Jimmy the option to just turn that
Yes.
shit off,
Please.
so that when he gets killed by somebody, it's just a guy in camouflage.
Yeah.
I'll jump in to say I had to go look to make sure I wasn't losing my mind. They have publicly talked about the multiplayer, so yeah, it's great. So there you go. You don't have to edit anything.
Yay.
Oh, good. I was all I could think of was I was thinking, shit, don't forget to cut that out.
And to the point of what you're saying, they'll launch without doing any of that. But yeah, if there's money to be made, I fully expect they will.
And
Yeah.
I don't blame them even a little.
I like how Hunt Showdown does it. Like when they added Ghostface, they like came up with in-universe lore for him, and he's not like Ghostface. He's like a silent assassin who has a similar-ish mask. I'm cool with stuff like that, but when, you know, Beavis and Butthead are cel-shaded running around with like AR-15s, I'm like, okay, what game am I even playing?
Here's what I want them to model. I want them to sell Beavis and Butthead, but from the SNL skit.
Yeah.
That would be
That
amazing.
would be cool. Beavis and Butthead go to Modern Warfare.
Yeah. All right, let's move on from the news and talk about the games that we've been playing. Man, I finished Pragmata last week, immediately bought Lego Batman, and said to myself, this is the only game I'm going to play for quite a long time. And then I got a review copy for 007 First Light, and I am completely obsessed with it, so much so that Lego Batman is now on the back burner, and I'm really only going to be playing that with my grandson for a while. 007 First Light, I am over the moon for this game. It feels like I'm watching a movie. There's no downtime. The pacing is incredible. The voice acting is unbelievably good. The acting, like the mocap, is awesome, and the moment to moment action, and we won't give any spoilers here, but the moment to moment action is unmatched. I feel like I'm having so much freaking fun with it. Like in a Bond movie, you know, you have gadgets, probably a car chase of some kind, some, you know, hand-to-hand combat, and some intrigue, right? And last night I got to the first car chase, and I was like, and I'm not talking about the tutorial car where you're just doing laps or whatever. I'm talking actual car chase. And I was like, that was incredible. And it leads to a battle that you have to go through. And there's like, they just kept taking, okay, what if we do this afterwards? And the people were like, yep, let's do that. And they just kept ramping it up and up and up. And I'm not much further past that. Like, all I'm going to say is Airplane.
Yeah.
I just finished that mission and I was like, holy cow, that was unbelievably good. And I was playing it up until 15 minutes before we sat down to record because I could not stop.
Yeah.
Jimmy, what's your time in so far been like?
So I'm a little bit farther than you, probably 2 levels, and that sense you have where it just keeps going like and then and it just ramps up. It just keeps doing that so far from what I've experienced. And my favorite Sony franchise ever is Uncharted, and this feels like everyone said it, but it feels like Uncharted mixed with Hitman, which are 2 franchises I really love, but it's doing a little bit extra on top of both to feel not like we're replaying the hits, right? Like the intro, I think, got a little like, I was like, I don't know where we're going here. I don't know who the villain is. But once you get out of that training mission and do the mission you just talked about, which is the reveal trailer mission, I was like, I'm locked in. I'm here. And Lenny James from The Walking Dead, Morgan, this dude is putting in an Oscar level performance. He is amazing. He's like an incredible mentor.
Is he playing? Is he Bond?
Greenway.
Oh, Greenway. Okay.
Yeah.
He's training them. Yeah.
He's amazing. He's great in The Walking Dead, but like, I don't know, this dude's like killing it in this game. It feels like it doesn't feel like I'm watching like a computer generated version of him. It's like he's there. This is like one of the best game performances I've ever seen. The guy playing Bond is great too. I'm going to praise everyone, but just Lenny James really stood out to me. It's like, wow, he's like, there's like little minor fluctuations in conversation when you can like tell he's like starting to like James Bond, and it's just like a really good performance. But the shooting feels so good. It's like so snappy, and that little sound effect they play when you get a headshot, it's so awesome. It feels tactical. It's like punchy. It's cool. My one gripe with this game is that it has Arkham combat, but counter is on B instead of Y. And I have gotten killed so many times where I see the yellow and I'm like, counter. I tap Y, I get like socked in the face, I get grabbed, I get thrown, and I just can't, I don't know why my brain can't wrap my head around that. But so far, that's my only nitpick. And I'm playing it on my SteamOS PC with the 9070 XT, and it's running phenomenally. I'm not even using upscaling. It's on Ultra 1440p, and it's good. It's a very, very good game.
I'm playing on Ultra 4K, and I have a graphics card that's less than yours.
Oh, so I could bump it up.
You can bump it up, and I'm maintaining like 110 frames per second when I'm playing. It's the optimization is crazy. As far as why you're hitting the wrong button, it's because on an Xbox controller, the Y button is yellow, and that's why yellow means press Y. So when it says yellow, my brain wants to press Y as well. It's driving me up the wall, and I kept hitting the wrong button.
I just played Replace 2, which has the exact same combat, and it's Y to counter in that game. So I'm coming off of that. So I'll get used to it eventually, but I've died a lot more than I feel like I should have.
Mm-hmm. Paris, you've reviewed the game.
Mm-hmm.
So does this ramping just keep continuing for the whole thing?
Yeah, it's a James Bond movie.
Yes.
That's what this is. You are James Bond. This is the best 007 video game ever made, easily. And the comparisons, you already mentioned a couple of them. Obviously, Uncharted. Everybody's saying that. IO made it, so Hitman DNA is all over this thing. I would also add in some Splinter Cell, some Assassin's Creed. And then I saw someone on social media say this to kind of sum it up. And I was like, it's pretty spot on. This is what Watch Dogs 4 should be. And I was like,
that's a good comparison.
I was like, you're right. This absolutely is, because Bond with all his gadgets, everything that you're doing, I'm like, absolutely, this is what Watch Dogs should be. Yeah, it would. Voice acting, the mocap, like all the performances were top notch in this. I do agree with you. The gunplay in this is pretty solid. Now, I had a nitpick just overall. So when I saw it getting 9s and 10s, I had this more in the 8.5 range, which isn't bad. It's great. I highly recommend the game. My thing was with the AI. I was able to kind of fudge it a little bit. I wish it was a little more intuitive as far as that goes, but there's just so much there that you overlook it. You want to keep playing this game. You want to enjoy it. You want to be James Bond. This is the James Bond origin story. You want to play through this. You want to see how he earns his 007 moniker, the whole thing. So again, I know no spoilers on that stuff, but yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Really, really good. Highly recommend. And as the sales numbers we're already seeing, people are buying it, people are playing it and enjoying it, which is great.
I don't know why I was worried that it was going to sell poorly. I just had that feeling, and then I saw.
Yeah, to your point. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Actually, I was too. Yeah. I was actually concerned that it wouldn't either. So I was very happy to see the sales
for no
sales
reason. I was
really
just
good.
like, I don't know, something feels weird. But then, it's selling well. I'm looking on Chrono 24 at Omega is just like crying because the watch is just so good in this game. It's awesome as a watch fan. But I mean, my favorite Bond movies are Casino Royale and Skyfall, and that's because they both have like momentum and energy, and this feels like that. And he's got a little bit of edge to him, right? Like he's not afraid to get down and dirty. He can take some hits, but it is really funny. You reminded me whenever I'm like, you can take 3 hits until you die. When I'm on that second hit, I just run away. And I run as far away as I can, and I kite them around. And then when I get my health back, I'm like, "Oh, now you're done, boy."
I do have a couple of gripes with the game, and both of them, one of them's a technical gripe, and that is every time I start the game, I have to change my resolution because it defaults to 800p. You got this?
for you.
What do I do? It's
Steam Deck
crazy.
equals 0% command % if you're on Linux. It thinks it's a Steam Deck, so it defaults to the Steam Deck's resolution. I do this with every game. You can set it as a global launch command. Steam Deck equals 0, and then it's like, oh, you're on a computer, and then it'll save your resolution.
Yeah,
I mean, that happen.
I mean, in all fairness to what you're saying right now, this game did come in a little hot for the optimization, which we kind of touched on already. Like, as an example, on the PC side, path tracing is not a part of this yet. That's coming later. So that goes to show you this was not 100% feature complete, but they nailed the gameplay, which is the most important part of it. So I don't have a complaint as far as that goes. And I still think visually it looks really good. I was lucky enough at GDC, I got to sit in on a presentation with IO, and I did see it with path tracing in that presentation. The lighting in a lot of those scenes is phenomenal. So I am really looking forward to this summer when they get that stuff in there. But yeah, I would say if you like James Bond, go pick this up, because this slots right into anything Bond that you would love as far as the movies go.
And then the other gripe that I have is I hate the icons that they have for the gadgets, because I push the LB button and it comes up and I'm like, yeah, I don't remember what these do.
Right.
I don't know which one's which.
To read the screen.
You'll get used to it. The more you get into it, you get used to it.
And I would recommend everyone, before you start this game, you have 3 of each of the bonus missions unlocked. I think it's called like Tax Sim mode. I recommend playing those because they teach you combo moves like the heavy knee and the gut punch, which are basically essential. And the tutorial walks you through fighting, but doesn't get granular with it like that. So they take like 5 minutes. They're fun. And they taught me a lot about the combat. So now I feel cool, whereas I didn't before. I felt like I was like barely surviving every fight because I had no heavy moves. And then I figured it out.
The combat is awesome. Like, it feels raw and really, really rough. It feels like when he grabs somebody and then just shoves their face into his knee, you're just like, hell yeah.
And then the throw, have you been throwing like stuff on?
Yeah, when you just standing by and grab something.
He's like he's got a baseball pitch. It does a lot of damage. Like, it can kill a guy, which is so funny. And when a guy
the first time I saw it, I was next to this table and there's like an ashtray or something on the table. I don't know what it was. And it says press trigger to throw. And I was like, what's going to happen? So I pressed it and he does that animation. I was like, that was cool.
Yeah. And like the weapon sounds, like when you shoot a vector, you're like, oh, it's like crack, dude. It's awesome. And the Dragunov, when you're just sniping guys a little bit later, you can pick one up. And I love that he like kicks the gun up. I love that you can throw the gun like John Wick. It's very stylish and cool. Like, I'm excited that they're adding on to the Tax Sim mode more after launch, because I will be spending a lot of time in that.
I just hope they make another one of these. I want them to I want these guys to make another James Bond game, and I want them to make a John Wick game.
Well, we're getting that from Saber.
Yeah, but I want IOI to make it because
Yeah.
they've done such a great job.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
can't imagine that they've not already greenlit the sequel to this. I'd be shocked if they
Has to.
didn't. But yeah, they did a phenomenal job with this.
Good things happening in 2026. What's happening? Like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of good things, the other game that I was playing that I immediately stopped was Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight. Like Jimmy, you were also playing it a bunch.
I still am.
How are you still playing it, or did
Yeah.
it get sidelined for James Bond?
I'm playing it on my Steam Deck in bed at night. So I'm like on chapter 3, and for a freaking Lego game, man, I can't believe how good this is. Like, I didn't love Lego Star Wars The Skywalker Saga because they were like really marketing it as like this evolution of Lego games, and it's like not really. It's the same old Lego games with some open areas you can do Mario Odyssey budget style puzzles in. So I fell off of that pretty quick. But this is just a new Arkham game, but you're Lego guys, and you get to go through every Batman movie, and they managed to make it feel like one cohesive story, which is kind of
Which is
insane.
crazy.
And it works. And the voice acting's great. The graphics are awesome. It scales super well. Unreal Engine 5.8, I guess, is the one that fixed performance. But one cool thing about Unreal Engine 5 is that the low preset retains the vast majority of the visual touches and flair. So like jumping from my SteamOS PC on the TV down to the Steam Deck, it doesn't feel like I'm sacrificing much outside of going from 60 to 30, but it runs so well that like I don't care. I'm having a ton of fun with it.
Paris, have you played the new Lego Batman game yet?
I have it. It's installed, and I was playing 007 and Forza before that. I just didn't have time. So it's on the to-do list. Hopefully I'll get to it either late tonight or probably tomorrow or something.
Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I basically I bought it because my son likes to come when he come, or not my son, my grandson, when he comes over, he'll come upstairs and he goes, "Hey Pops, we play video games?" And I was like, "Okay, buddy, we'll play video games."
Yeah.
And so I'll load up I have all of the Lego games, which I bought when they were like on a Humble Bundle or something. So I have every single one of them. This is so much better than all of the other Lego games, not just because it's better looking, but the controls are better. It's really funny. There's been moments where I have literally laughed because of what happened on the screen, the little visual gags that they have. And like, we're just having an absolute blast playing it. I love this game, but it's been sidelined because 007 is just so much better.
It's so good. There's
It
a
really
Patrick
is.
Bateman joke in this from American Psycho that's like very obvious. It's not even hard to find. So it kind of makes me sad that they're making Lego games for 30-year-olds, just like regular Legos, but I'm fine with it. I'm really enjoying this game way more than I thought I was. I didn't even think I was going to buy it. And then I believed the tweets that said it was just a new Arkham game, and they were not lying. It's really cool. And it's like it's the first one to have a true open world. Like it's the open world Gotham is just an open world like Spider-Man adjacent sort of map where you've got all this side content you can do that it progressively unlocks throughout the game. So I don't know. This team killed it. They did a good job, and I hope it's selling well.
I really like the traversal too. Once you get like your grapple and then your wings, like being able to just in the open world, just look at an area and press the grapple button, and Batman just zips across the city super fast. It's always really, really fun. And I also really like the fact that my grandson can play as Batman, and I don't feel like a useless side character because every character has they have a grapple hook. They have this other stuff they have things that you can do, and I really do appreciate that. Paris, what else have you been playing? Anything that we haven't mentioned yet?
No, like I said, it was Forza right into 007, so I haven't played anything else. So now that it's calming down a little bit, hopefully I can jump. Like I'll say this: I'm highly addicted to Hades 2. I probably play it too much, so when I do get free time, I always go back for a run on Hades 2. So I'll be doing that, I'm sure.
Very cool. Jimmy, any other games that you've been playing before we wrap up?
I'm gonna pick up Mina the Hollower.
Yeah, that's another one.
That looks right up my alley. And I've been playing this indie game called Tomb Water, which I found just scrolling the new games on Steam. And it's made by one guy who got started doing Zelda likes, but he basically made Cowboy Bloodborne, and it's awesome. It's a very good game. I think it's like $25. It runs great on the Steam Deck, and it has the Hollow Knight charm system. So that's how you do builds. And I've got this. I picked Gunslinger as the character class. So like when I hit enemies with melee, it recharges my bullets. And I've got this like new ability that lets me like use the sword to deflect bullets. And then I can also sacrifice health to get bullets back. And it's hard as hell, but I'm really enjoying it. So if you're into like 2D Souls likes, I have not played one this good in a long time.
Cool. Well, I think that's going to do it for us. But before we get out of here, Paris, you are off to Summer Games Fest soon, and I'm sure that you're going to be posting a bunch of stuff on your YouTube channel. Why don't you tell everybody where they can find all that stuff?
Sure. My YouTube channel, which I'm lazy, but I'm getting a lot better at actually posting stuff on there, is youtube.com, at Paris ML. So Paris with 2 R's. I'm also on Gamertag Radio, also doing content on Kind of Funny Games as well. And I yap a lot on social media at Fishes696. So you can find me there too.
Awesome. Thanks for coming on, man. Jimmy,
No,
why don't you tell
thank
everybody
you.
what you're working on, man?
I will see Paris next week at Summer
Yeah.
Game Fest. So that'll be fun. I'm going back to LA. First time since I moved back to Michigan. And
Oh, I didn't know that. I thought you were still here in LA. Oh, wow. Right on. Okay.
that's why I haven't been at anything.
Yeah.
No, I wanted a house, and you know how the housing market is in LA. So I went back
Yeah.
to Michigan with my wife, and it's been great. But you can find me on Deck Ready. I have a video called "How I Really Use My Steam Controller" coming out soon-ish at some point. But yeah, you guys know where to find me. We're on the
All
Nerd
right.
Nest.
That's right. Click on that subscribe button down below. It's going to bring up these guys' channels so you can easily find them as well. And thanks for hanging out with us for the last hour and a half. We appreciate it. We'll see you on the next one. Stay rad, everybody.